Welcome to episode 11. So, the truth about not enough time, the feeling that you just don't have any time or there's not enough of it. This is the topic for today, and it's really interesting because when we move our attention to actually thinking about time as an abundant supply, an abundant sort of resource, if you like, then things can totally change. But what we often fall into on a day-to-day basis, and we quite easily say this, that I don't have time for that, or I've not got enough time to do X. And I want you to just pause for a moment and think, when was the last time you said that? And try and analyze it for a moment. Actually, look into why you are saying this, because there's usually there's usually something underlying this, and getting to the bottom can be a bit tricky because we fall into that trap of just finding it very easy to say, I don't have time. But why do you not want to make time for it? What what is it about that thing that is making you automatically switch into this mode, to recognize and say that, well, I actually don't have time for it, so that's the reason. And that reason sometimes is more like an excuse. It's an excuse we tell ourselves, and we don't really often realize that we are even doing this. So it's not like we are consciously saying, I don't want to do this. We are almost, before we even get to that point, we've just made this decision that we do not want to do it. So I'd love you to explore that and think about, what's the underlying things going on there? What might be the reason that you are telling yourself that you just don't have time? Because, it's almost like, I'm not even going to think about it because it's not even worthy of me working out how I can make time for it. It's just simply, it's a no, I'm not doing it. And it could be that you are feeling like you're pushing yourself, too far. It's something that feels difficult. Maybe it's awkward. Maybe it's pushing you out of your comfort zone enough for you to just meet that resistance to say, actually, do you know what? I'm safer if I just don't have time for it, because I don't want to get involved in whatever else that thing might have, that comes up. So next, I want you to think, when we do say this, and we will often say it without thinking it through, is it because we don't want to do the thing, or is it that we are not prioritizing that thing because it isn't feeling like it's a good enough priority? So I would ask you to think about that, because you can't find time for anything you want to do. You simply have to work out what your priorities are. And if the things that are at the top of your list, those are the things you are going to give your time, energy, and focus. And if something makes it into that top list, then naturally you will find a way to make it happen. It might be that it takes you a long time because you're only doing it in small bits. That does not mean you're not doing it. And by saying this, I have no time or I have not enough time, we just put a halt on any progress because we're not even going to consider it. So, definitely something to think about. Do you have not enough time, or do you just need to prioritize things better? Because when you prioritize things, you're looking at the whole piece. So you're not thinking about just one thing, you're looking at things as a collective to really decide where it is that you want to be more intentional and bring your energy to that. And that is really powerful because, when we reprioritize, we are allowing ourselves to move through the waves. We are allowing ourselves to evolve and do things different. We don't have to do the same thing over and over again. But if this time thing is limiting you, then it's a great time to stop and think, maybe about what you've done in the past, and maybe think about it enough that when you do it in the future, you think, time, or is it my priorities? Do my priorities need to change? Is it actually important enough that it should be a priority, but it's making me feel scared and maybe giving me a sense of fear? And hence, it's more like a primitive reaction to run away from the fire, run away from things because we want to keep ourselves safe. So yeah, that's the topic for today, and I'd love to know what you think. If you're watching this on YouTube, then do pop in a comment and let me know. I'd love to know if this has been helpful for you and what's coming up for you, because often we can like hear the same message and the same things, maybe said in a different way, and it can connect. And at different times, things will bring up different stories for us, things that have happened, or things that we've said, or things that we've heard. And it's really important to all the time be working on ourselves so that we can improve what we're doing, and we can improve our own patterns, our behaviors, and really stand up in the power that we want to be seen as. So that's it for this episode. I look forward to speaking to you next week.